Welcome, everyone, to the Tipped and Stiff podcast with your hosts, Cade Alvarez and
Jared Sturridge.
Jared, you seem tired. What's wrong?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing's wrong with me.
Nothing's wrong with you?
I'm fine.
Oh, okay. You're
good.
fine. You're good. Listen, did you hear about what happened in front of the Supreme Court? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Watch out! Burning down the house. Can we please get...
It was a tragedy.
It was, well, I think it was a bit much.
I mean, no. I think it was...
Did he die?
He's
Assuming?
dead.
I assume their gender.
Did
Did they die?
It was a he. He died.
Okay. Well, what do you expect when you set yourself on fire?
Right. His last thing he ever did on Earth was release a bunch of carbon into the atmosphere.
That's a good point, Jared.
And he's a climate activist.
That's a good point.
He didn't think far enough ahead.
Listen, I mean, that's just wacky. I mean,
Yeah.
what are you going to do about that, though?
I know.
Look at that. Climate activist dies after setting himself on fire at the Supreme Court. Make that go away. I don't want anyone knowing that. Climate activist dies after setting himself on fire at Supreme Court. A friend described the actions of Wynn Bruce of Boulder, Colorado, bougie, as a deeply fearless act of compassion to bring attention to the climate crisis. You know what? It's an honorable act that no one will care about. And no one has. It's really gotten no news. I didn't know until you told me.
Yeah.
And I pay attention to the news.
Yeah. No, I found out from like TikTok or something.
This came out today, so it's like even
Late.
After the fact. I think it because it didn't get any news coverage is why it's now getting news coverage.
Isn't that funny? That happens a lot. With people like, the news isn't talking about this, and then they do talk about it afterwards, and they're like, see, this happened. Wait, and then they're like, wait, that's not the story, because they contort it, really.
Wait, yeah. Kritikanko, I probably said that wrong, Kanko, a climate scientist at the Environmental Defense Fund and a Zen Buddhist priest in Boulder, said that she is a friend of Mr. Bruce and that the self-immolation was a planned act of protest. Self-immolate! Awesome.
This is not suicide.
This act is not a suicide. See, this is the thing. This act is not suicide, so it's okay to make fun of it.
Right. I never make fun of suicides or death.
We've never done that on the podcast, not even once.
This isn't a death. This is actually a statement.
It's an art project.
Yes.
It's a piece of art.
It's from Boulder.
From Boulder, Colorado. This deeply fearless act of compassion to bring attention to the climate crisis.
It's
Why?
a deeply fearless act of compassion.
It's pretty wild when you look at how high the carbon is at the moment. We're not going to make it. And I think that's the thing.
Is it really that bad right now?
Yeah. Yeah. Can we look up how many degrees that we're warming up like every year?
Yeah, let's find out.
It is, Jared, it is bad. The climate crisis is a crisis and nobody cares. You know why?
Because Jordan Peterson said not to care about it.
Did he?
No.
Do you want know why? Do you know why no one cares about the climate crisis?
Because Ukraine is more important.
Well, it's more because it has nothing to do about trans people. Because there's nothing that gets this country more up in its bunches.
Trans people are going to be the only people who survive the climate crisis. They're just like built different.
They are built
They're going to make it.
They are going to make it. I agree with that statement.
Yeah.
But you notice you can't politicize climate crises like you can trans folks.
Right, but look what politicizing transgender people is doing to the movement.
Listen.
Not always good things.
Listen, I'm not here to give you any solutions, Jared. I'm just telling you this is how the world works at the moment.
Yeah.
If it isn't...
I'm agreeing.
If it isn't about, an unborn child or, taxes or people who aren't white, nobody cares. Nobody cares. There's really only five things that this country cares about politically. Six.
What?
I'll name them all. Ready? Immigration, healthcare, gun control, trans people. I had all of them in my head. I'm still going.
You got food.
Pro-life.
Abortion?
Is food?
No.
Okay.
No.
We're not worrying about food right
in
now.
taxes.
But like
In taxes. That's it.
Taxes.
Gun control,
Yeah,
taxes, abortion, immigrants, trans folks, and save me on the last one. I'm doing
Taxes.
No, I already said taxes. But yeah, you got it. We got them. But that's it.
They're in there.
They're in there. That's all people really care about.
Yeah.
Climate change. People care about climate change. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying that the status quo doesn't care about climate change. Do you know what I mean?
But do you
know.
think that they say that to try and like discourage people that do care about it? Like, no one cares anyways. But like, I bet if you talk to most people and you're like, hey, like we should recycle and take care of the earth, right? They would probably would agree with you.
Yeah, but that's the same way of asking someone, would you like to end world hunger? They go, yeah, of course. But then when the candidate comes rolling around, they go, who's coming over our border? And then it gets the word, we lose track. We lose track of where we were. They're trying to take what right away? It's right.
Yeah.
That's immediately what happens. It's never.
Should we leave the planet? Like, should we even consider that?
I don't think.
I have a lot of feelings about that.
I don't think we should leave the planet. I think we should stay and take our medicine.
Yeah.
I think we should deserve it.
I think it'd be better.
To a degree.
I think it'd be like, if you are like, say, a 27-year-old person who's still living at home, and you are totally like a capable person, like you could go out and like get your life going, but then like 5 years go by and you're still at home and you're still being taken care of by your parents and everything, you should probably just stay there for the rest of your life then.
Just give up. Yeah, but it's not going to pan out.
But that sounds weird though. Like that's like the logic here. 'Cause like if we got our shit together in some way and packed up and left and went somewhere more habitable, somewhere we could survive, one, we couldn't take as much with us as we had, people-wise and everything, possession-wise, and two, we would be like leaving the nest of humanity kind of thing. And I don't think that this country I don't think that this world or humanity can really take that evolution. You know, I don't know if we're really ready to handle that. I don't know if we're ever made to handle that.
The next step. Well, you're definitely not.
Because that next...
You're not.
I know, I'm sitting here with diarrhea.
You're about to shit your pants on the podcast, and you want to go to Mars.
Right.
Right.
No, I don't. I'm saying that this would not be... I'm saying that, you know how like a lot of people don't handle... Like they put off going, like leaving their family or leaving like their childhood. And I'm saying that same mental sickness and that barrier, that hurdle that people have tried to overcome since we had a civilization that worked that way, where you eventually go out on your own, would be so difficult for everybody to do as a collective species.
Yes.
Like that'd be huge to sever the tie with our original home. I think
most people aren't built for that.
Most people don't even realize that's what it is. That's what would be happening.
Most people realize that they will not come with.
Yeah. They don't want to leave home. They don't want to leave Earth.
It's not their choice. It will not be their choice. It will be somebody else's. Like if they're like, see, this is what's going to happen. There's like the richest people in the world are all going to get a first ticket out of here. And then they're going to do like a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory golden ticket system for who can be the lucky one to get on the spaceship to Mars. That's what's going to happen.
You get up there and you just clean up after them.
And and you're a janitor. Like you don't get do anything cool.
You don't get the Chocolate Factory. You don't get the whole shebang.
No, you're a... What are they?
You're a serf.
No. What are they in the movie?
Oompa Loompa.
You're an Oompa Loompa.
Yeah, you're an Oompa Loompa.
You get to be an Oompa Loompa.
Yeah.
That's what you get. That's what we are, Jared. We are Oompa Loompas. Oompa Loompa. Boopity-doo.
Oh, poor Johnny Depp. Hey, he's doing all right, though.
I've seen some funny shit.
He beat the case. Or Amber Heard, rather, didn't beat the case. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Can we look it up? I just heard it was going well in his favor.
It is, because she's a maniac from the tapes, from all the evidence they've had. Yeah, he seems to be a nice guy. Who knows? It's really weird because part of me is like, Johnny Depp probably is crazy because, I mean, the man's done a lot of wild shit. Like, his history was like drug use and drinking and stuff like that. I'm sure he's wild.
Yeah.
But
Sure, he had his time for that.
he probably, from the court, it doesn't seem that he, like, beat the shit out of his wife.
Or even, like, did anything.
Ever did it, which is good.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad he didn't do that.
Because you know who, I don't really know much about particulars, but you know who also had a huge problem with drugs and alcohol and then became a superstar and no one really knows about their inner life? Robert Downey Jr.
Yep. Yeah. Same.
He turned it around,
Mm-hmm.
but he also has like billions of dollars. Not that much,
Billions?
but he probably has a lot of money.
Millions.
Hundreds of millions.
He's probably up there. Probably in the $500 million range.
Yeah,
Probably. Those Marvel movies paid Jared.
They're sweet.
They paid Jared.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad.
Can we? Do you have anything on that?
I mean, I pulled up an article for. There's like some video here.
We can't watch the video. Our last video got blocked from being
Really?
posted. Yeah.
Because why?
Because we had a TED talk with Elon Musk,
Oh.
and Ted came after us.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Revelations from defamation trial so far. Crazy. Private details about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's relationship are being aired out in court, including what their former marriage counselor describes as mutual abuse between the stars.
Yeah.
He's 58? I didn't even know
He's
that.
old now.
Yeah. Poor Jack Sparrow. Maybe we're all wrong.
It's crusty.
Maybe we're all wrong. Maybe like I said, I'm putting my money on they're both crazy.
It's a bit of both. It has to be, but it seems like she's a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, it seems like she would hit him and
Yeah.
fucking beat the shit out of
What
him.
did Amber Heard do? What was her job?
She's an actress.
She's an actress?
What was she in? Can we look at what she was in?
Because I'll tell you if she was an actress then. Oh, Aquaman. Yeah.
Right.
Nah. Says it right there.
She's-
She was an Aquaman. So she's not an actress. She's a moocher of Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, I was reading.
know.
Yeah, no, you might be right about that one. What was she in? The Rum Diary, Drive Angry. Yikes. Four movies.
Justice
No,
League,
Oh, there we go.
51 credits.
51 credits.
Magic Mike, XXL. The Adderall Diary. She was in the Adderall Diaries. That's funny.
She was in The Danish Girl. That's a real movie.
Oh
right?
yeah. Well, she was in Pineapple Express. Oh my god.
In Zombieland.
Zombieland.
Interesting. Yeah. So like, not really Johnny Depp level actor.
Yeah, now let's pull up Johnny Depp.
Yeah, let's.
Now let's pull up Johnny.
How many films do you think he's been in?
I don't know. That's crazy.
He's got
95 credits.
Wow.
Really? Hold on.
This is great content.
Hold on. I want to see. This is good content. We need
Who
to
doesn't
figure out
like
what he
Johnny
was
Depp?
in.
We're just silent.
Pirates of the Caribbean, of course. Pirates of the Caribbean, of course. I mean, like, he was great. He was great in Pirates of the Caribbean. Do you ever go back and watch the first one? It's so good.
It's really good.
It's really good. Like, it really didn't. It held up.
It's funny, like it's dark, like it's weird, it's a mystery. It's like one of the better Disney movies.
Right.
Seen this movie?
Transcendence. Yeah. Hold on. Do you know
That one
why?
was weird. Yeah. That one's
Do you
cool.
know why it was good that we brought this up? Do you know why it was good that we talked about movies? Can we exit? Can we exit out of here? I was watching the movie Dazed and Confused.
Oh yeah, that's a great movie.
It is not a great movie, Bryce. It is not a great movie. When did you watch it last?
When I'm a teenager or something.
Okay, it's a great movie when
College.
you're a teenager.
Yeah.
Watch it now.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, a lot of those movies lose their.
No. It's not about their zeal or their zest. It's about like the constant objectification of women on such a horrendous scale, and the amount of like, I feel like a feminist right now, and that's fine, but I feel like I'm on a liberal, like the way I'm talking feels like I'm on a liberal arts college, but the amount of toxic masculinity that is in that movie. I went to work and I asked some of my coworkers who lived through the 70s as teenagers. I was like, "Is that movie accurate?" And they're like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Your era is horrible." Yeah, I get that the music was good.
Is it like a satirical movie? Like, is it like being like, look at all of this? Isn't this wild?
No, it's a look at all this. Remember when? It's a remember when, and
nice.
This is what the 70s were, boy. Like when a bunch of the juniors graduate. You ever seen the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just a recap. The juniors graduate, or the juniors. It's the last day of them being juniors, and it's the summer, last day of school, and they're seniors now, all right? And as their job as seniors is the ninth graders becoming freshmen. I'm sorry, they're not juniors, they're sophomores, because juniors was added later. They're sophomores, so which is 11th grade in this movie. So they're 11th graders becoming seniors, and it's the ninth graders going into 10th grade. So they're freshmen. So the sophomores are like, they make paddles. They make paddles and they beat the crap out of the freshmen as like a ritual, as a rite of passage. They get their asses beat with paddles. And it's disturbing. It is so disturbing. Yeah. And it's like, they're all been like, you got to get pussy, drinking beer. So there's so much drinking and driving. Like, you wonder why they changed the age from drinking from 18 to 21. These people were maniacs. And they're like, what I love, they're just throwing like beer bottles out the windows and stuff. I'm watching the movie now and I go, this is why there are people setting themselves on fire in front of the Supreme Court. These people are the largest voting bloc in the country. Not anymore. Thanks, COVID. And this is what the problem is. Like, they're animals then, they're animals now. Dude, I'm not going to say who told me this story. An old gentleman told me this story. A almost 70-year-old gentleman told me this story. Okay. And I went to, it kind of relates to last episode, how we went to that club. We talked about in the last episode, we went to this club called Mad Planet in Milwaukee. Yeah. And I was telling this person about it, and they were like, oh yeah, I remember back in the day in the 70s. He's like, I got invited to a party. We all went up there. It was in those apartments on the east side in Milwaukee. And he goes, yeah, everyone's like, there's a big trash can, and everyone's putting their liquor in it and just mixing it together. There's like fruit floating in it, and they're just ladling it into cups, just getting fucked up, having fun. But he gets there and he goes, where do I put my coat? And the guy who's running the party is like, just put your coat in this room. And he goes, okay. He walks over to the room, opens the door, and there's a completely naked woman passed out on the bed with like 5 coats on top of her. And he goes, isn't that wild? I was like, yeah, that's wow, crazy. And he was so nonchalant about it. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. Like, and I watched that movie and I go, I remember the statistics of like, this is how many women experience sexual assault. I'm like, yeah, I feel like now when I look at what people have said and like the movies and art that had come out of that time, how normal it was to just like assault women. Yeah. Like nonchalantly.
Even before that, like think about like the 30s and 40s, like men would beat their wives and shit.
For sure. Normal. It's it's just, here's a film about the good old days. And it's like, we treated women with no respect, like dogs, objects. We just got drunk, polluted everywhere, beat the shit out of minors. Also, slept with minors, and it was just
that's a big thing in that movie.
It is pretty big. Matthew McConaughey.
He has the line. He said my favorite thing about high school girls is that I keep getting older, but they stay the same age. That encapsulates that entire zeitgeist there.
Listen, I like you know how they're like the kids these days. And it's like, no, you were like a rapist.
You were those kids those days.
You were like an assaulter. You don't talk about what I do. Because they're like kids these days. And it's like, so like, listen, what they were like, kids these days are smoking weed. and like vaping.
They're like
what?
kids these days don't have the social skills that they used to. Yeah, the social skills to be able to go and rape somebody.
Like that's
or like to trick just like to trick people, you know, like
right.
To, like, you know,
abuse.
abuse
burn,
your whole life,
destroy.
Yeah.
Just me all the time. And that's just what's amazing about that movie is like you watch and so many people are like, that movie's great. You know, that's all about the good old days. And you're like, God has left us here. And he has so many reasons why. Nietzsche was right. It's not that God is dead. It's that we left him behind. Them. I won't gender God.
But in this instance of talking about this version of God, it's a he.
I would, yeah.
You know,
the thing is like, I don't know. Like, you know, we've heard stories. We know people who have done some bad things, and they're gone now. You know, and good. But like, no one is. It's just I'm. You gotta. That's one thing I like. Now that I'm kind of away from the nest, you know, when you hear how your parents think about like progressivism and stuff like that, and you really like look at the history of things and like think about like, I'm okay with progressivism. I'm fine with it because I like, it's not the whole I want to be on the right side of history thing. It's more like I don't think a lot of people realize maybe how bad they have it who are in fine situations, but maybe the way they talk, things that people get said to them, the way they operate, so much of it is structured in a certain way. I'm talking about, this is where like the whole it's a man's world kind of comes into play. You know, we know older women who talk about like the roles men and women should play, and you're like, what are you talking about? That's the what? Like when you hear somebody really like get into that, you're like, how about just like live? Like, why are you? What role? I don't want to live a role. I want to do my thing.
It's complicated though, because I feel like
here you go. You're going to talk about how people should live roles, and you're wrong.
That's not what I'm going to say. Can you let me speak?
No, you have to go crap your pants in a minute.
Basically, I think that it's hard for people to think of any other way other than the one that they're brought up in.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, I don't think it's that ridiculous that with how young like human, like civilized collective human society is, that we have that our roles are not perfect and that we are still figuring out what's moral and what's not about the roles that we've built, the structure that we've built.
Absolutely.
You know, I think it's just has not been enough time to figure it out.
Why do you think things are changing, if they are changing? But why do you think the conversation's being had more?
For me, I always think it comes down to people like in a metaphorical sense, a dimensional shift where people are becoming more aware of what there is to be had from life and what there even is to find in life. And that's brought on by the structure that has been built, creating such deep problems.
Right.
And it's almost impossible sometimes to break out of those, because like when roots get formed from like a plant or an old tree, it's like impossible to rip that tree out of the ground. Like it takes so long and you sacrifice so much time and energy to rip that, to undo those roots, that you have people going, well, maybe there's a reason the roots are that deep. Maybe because it's objectively moral and true. And then you have other people who are saying, I'm like being strangled, like I can't move because these roots are so taut. But then there's people who are, there's different perspectives, like perspectives of being entrenched in whatever this is. And people are realizing that, and then they're starting to question these roles. But even the questioning of the roles, for a lot of people who has not everybody has the need to do that. You know, it's like it might just be easier just to live and not to try to deconstruct every facet of existence and every facet of society. It's like you said, it's better just to live and let it be more fluid.
You know, because I've only seen this argument twice. One from Richard Nixon and one from a pro-life protester at the college I used to go to. They both said to me, and they said, "Do you know what was prevalent at the fall of Rome?" And I went, "What?" And like the gays. That's what he said.
Yeah, we say that like transgender stuff was also a thing, like
sign of the times. Do you think it's more? And I'm thinking about this now. Like when you're talking about the views, the perspective, the people who look at the roots as if the roots are this long and strong because it's the way that things are meant to be. Or is it that when you find that the tree in which the roots are, the tree's dead, but the roots are still there. A tree with strong, roots deep in the ground, no matter if it's dead, it's still hard to get out of the ground, right? Is it like the idea that if more and more people feel that there is an impending doom coming, whether it's climate change, the economy, a war, the tech industry, right? The looming clouds coming over, right? That more and more people feel like, fuck, man, I just got to do my thing. Like sometimes I wonder about that. Like if you feel like the pressure of the world is about to buckle and snap, right? You're like, well, if these people ruined everything, why should I abide by their rules? Why shouldn't I be, why am I not allowed to do what I want to do? Why should I listen to anybody and what they tell me what I can and can't do, especially when it comes to representation or presentation, the way that you show the world yourself, like if you're a guy and you shave your legs, if you're a woman and you're like, I'm a lesbian, I need to do that. Or, you're transgender and you have gender dysmorphia. You're like, I need to express this part about myself, right? Like, if you feel like you've been in a box for a long time and you're like, well, the people who tell me I should be in this box are morons. And the way that they tell me the world should operate has been operating that way for a long time. And we're here. And what does that mean?
It's a what if factor. Sorry.
And it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
How about I stop abiding by their rules?
Yeah.
But the thing is, I feel like the moment that people start agreeing to stop abiding by the rules is the moment that it's already too late to have an effect. When people are finding like, fuck it, let's do our thing. The dam has all the cracks in it. The water's seeping through. It's no longer a question of, oh man, we should have plastered those up a long time ago. It's more of a question of, what are we going to do to stay out of the way of the flood?
Yeah. It becomes, then you have the question of, well, I can't even do the things that I wanted to do that the system wasn't allowing me to do because I have to defend myself against the flood that the system brought on. Yeah. But in a way, that's probably how it's supposed to go.
Always
because here's the thing, that tide of like what decides when the natural flow of why whatever system gets to that point, why it grows, why it gets so many branches to it and spreads so far and becomes everything, is because like its natural state is to rise and to fall. Like its natural state is to have intense order followed by intense chaos and destruction.
Do you think, you almost wonder if certain societies are supposed to get to push a certain, it's almost like we're built to keep pushing a certain boundary. How much can we handle at dismantling old identity, coming up with new ways to interact with one another? Take, the changing of like pronouns, the changing of the way the families are organized, the changing of how people look, right? The actions that they do. It's like, is it like every single time are we pushing that boundary, and every single time we get a little further and it's a little faster to get back to the point in which we left right before the flood every time? Like the flood is, oh, we're going to be like this in 40 years. And people are going to be like, oh, it's going to be crazy. What are the kids going to be like that? And right. But it's like, well, that 40 years is when the clock hits. Like that's like, which they're kind of saying with the climate crisis. They're like, oh yeah, the clock hits in 40 years.
I read 2030 is like when it starts to get to a point where it's like really like we're really fucked. 2030.
Right. So 2040 is going to be.
I thought you were saying 40 years from now.
I'm sorry. I am. Yeah. 2030 is going to be fucked. We're going to be around for a minute.
Oh yeah.
But I'm saying 2060 is when the clock's up. You know what I mean? Before this decade is. I'm sorry. Before this century is up. Thank you. Mm-hmm. The toll will be paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The toll will be paid within the next 100 years. That doesn't mean humanity will be over. It just means whatever comes out of it will be different. It will be new. And it will be with these new ideas. And it will be something beautiful in another way. You know?
It'll be something completely fresh from the start. But like it won't be seen that way. Does whatever civilization we have in the Western world now seem like a fresh, clean start from the Roman Empire or any other empire that ever existed? Does it seem like we're just some other new iteration? You know, a cell of a cell of a cell. Like, does it just seem like, are we ever going to not have something like a set of, like, an order, a way of life, like a collection? Is there ever going to be a point when there's no conscious being, when there's no, not conscious, conscious beings, like humans who have the ability to understand like our own mortality? Is there ever going to be a point when life is without that understanding? Because that understanding is what allows you to know about your own death, and that understanding of your death, it creates so much death drive and fear that you fuck up your society, and you create all these weird vessels inside of it that prevent you from living life fully because you're thinking about those clouds all the time.
Right.
I bet people at the beginning of every empire thought the clouds were 40 years away.
Probably.
They probably thought it was right down the line because there's always shit happening. And because it's ingrained in our DNA to have that instinct to always be warding it off, like that survival mechanism to always ward it off, that we don't even know yet how to we can't turn that off, in a sense.
You're right. You are right. But in this case, you know, if the people in the 1700s were like 1776, in 4 years, this country is going to be already broken.
Right. That's a different way of saying it's going to be broken rather than we can't even have it.
We can't even have it. And almost did. I mean, there was a civil war not too long after. But what I'm saying is we're right.
Like there's not going to be air to breathe. Like that's what I'm saying the difference is.
Right. But yeah, in this time when we're like in 40 years, it might be a wrap. The data shows it might be a wrap. Like there's no point in history that they have the data. You know what I mean? At no point in history were there Roman citizens going, you know, the sun will, you know, the oxygen is going to be, you know, the oxygen level is going to lower, the seas are going to rise because of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And it's because we're burning all these things. There was no point. They were like, oh, the Roman Empire might fall because of the Gauls. You know what I mean? And that's completely different. But there was no data on that. No one was running the numbers on when, you know, the Roman Empire was going to be invaded and taken over. Like, no one was doing that. And most citizens didn't have access. If someone was, most citizens, if not almost everybody, wouldn't have access to that. But now, everybody has access to it. You can read it. It's on the news. It's nothing like...
They want you to know about it.
They want you to at least be like, well, we did kind of tell you. Like, it's not that we didn't tell you.
Remember when I told you last week that we had 40 years left? Yeah. You forgot, didn't you?
You forgot.
You did something else. You went out and got drunk. My thing is that, do we need to even worry that much? Like, do we... Okay, that sounds really regressive. That's not what or transgressive. That's not what I'm trying to say. Is that not just how it has always been?
It's probably always been that way.
Like, isn't it? Not that we shouldn't care about the impact that we have on us as a society and every person. We should, and we haven't been. Are we so important enough as this iteration of civilization to think that we are the ones to turn it all around or to change the natural order of things? You know? Because I think if we tried to do that and if we tried to create a society that would never end, that is breaking the natural order of all life that has ever evolved into what we are today. Why do we think that we're the ones that we should do that? That who should do that?
I don't think we
That's
do.
big. I think there's a lot of people who do. I think that's like a subconscious hope that people have.
We should be the ones who say fuck it, hit the button.
That there's people who are saying we should hit the button. Nothing actually matters. Who cares? You know, it's just what it is. Life is meaningless. Nothing has any sort of ground or any sort of real substance to it. And you have the people who say that we are the only chance at substance in the universe, when that's just not true. We don't. Substance predates us.
Yes, the book Ishmael by Daniel. Can't remember his last name, but Ishmael, very good book. Kind of talks about how an idea that people cannot fathom is that it is our duty as part of the ecosystem of Earth to take care of Earth, so that when we leave Earth, we leave room for another species on Earth to become humans, which is a wild...
That is fucking wild.
Wild thought. And like the moment I read that, I was like, holy fuck, I've never thought about that at one point in my entire life, that the evolutionary process of some animal that's out there right now is on track to increasing its brain size, figuring out how to operate in a way that they can structure their own society. But it's just so far down the line that we don't think about it.
Apes.
Right.
Yeah.
It could be
they're
just
getting there.
Yeah.
Like they're doing shit.
Right. I mean, even though they are like we share a common ancestor with them, but like whatever comes out of that will look different than us, and they will be a different species.
Maybe dolphins. That'd be sick.
Probably some marine animal.
Crabs.
Mermaids.
Well, maybe we can. Let's think about climate change in a positive light for a second. If we flood the entire Earth, in a sense where no land animal like us could really survive, wouldn't we be leaving room for so many aqua life to what's the word?
Aquatic
Not
life.
if you poison the ocean.
We can't poison the ocean.
We can't do that. We can flood the Earth, but we can't put poison in it.
Oh, it'll be kind of hard. There'll be a lot of poison in the water.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of water.
It's true. There would be a lot of water. There would be a lot. But you know what I'm saying? Like that idea is wild. To think that when it's time to leave planet Earth and humans can start existing on different ecosystems so many years down the line, there's enough time before the sun explodes for the same weird thought. The amount of time it took for us to evolve into humans, there's still that amount of time left before the sun explodes.
Are you saying we're at a halfway point?
No, we're not. We're actually less than a halfway point. I'm saying that there's still enough time for this to happen. And the thing is that the time it would take is already less, because there are species of animals coexisting with us now that could do it. You know what I mean? Like it's already the environment, the ecosystem, you know, the aquatic life, you know, fucking germs and mushrooms and plants and everything, you know, the entire living spectrum already exists with us in it, and we treat it all like shit. We don't treat it very well at all, but they're persisting. What's a weird thought is that everything has to go through an extinction period, right? And humans live through the extinction period they should have died from. You know what I mean? Like the mammals did. We most likely did with how we had like an ice age and then it just went away. Like we should have died from that. You know, when we had an ice age and most likely a meteorite hit like Greenland or something like that, and the water flooded. We should have died through that, but we persisted because this species, for whatever reason, decided to go everywhere. Like nothing else wanted to do that. There's not, bears aren't everywhere. You know what I mean? Squirrels aren't in every continent. But for whatever reason, the versions before Homo sapiens were just like, fuck it, let's do it, and just went around the world. Nothing did that. But there's something that's going to do that again. And the thing is that when the next extinction, extinction period event happens, which could be climate change.
Yeah.
Climate change could be the next extinction event.
Timeline-wise, we're close to the next.
We can't fathom
the sixth one.
We can't fathom that because we're morons. Like, we can't fathom that the next extinction event could be man-made. And it's not that maybe every human would die. Most likely every human wouldn't die. Someone's going to figure it out. Someone's going to figure out how to stay alive. But the thing is that there's going to be a lot of other animals that also will figure it out.
Yeah. Yes.
That's
true.
That's what's weird.
They can evolve just like we can.
They will keep going.
Yeah.
And that's what's truly remarkable about this conversation that we're having with, the changing of the times, what things were even, 50 years ago compared to now, what things might be in less than 100 years, the impending doom that's upon us, the culture, the way it's moving, the conversations being had. There's something unfathomable to all of it, and almost something unspoken about all of it, because there is such a degree of perspective that you need to have, mostly of not having perspective, coming out of the human perspective, which it's hard for people to come out of their own perspective, let alone perspective as a species, to then look back on these problems, what's happening right now, and go, oh man, this is greater than us. This whole thing, everything that's going on here on this living planet is greater than every single human being. Mm-hmm. And the actual events of what it entails are kind of beautiful and remarkable and godlike. Like they are like beyond the human experience when you really think of how, like, what is happening right now. And so much of it is negative, but what could persist beyond it is, if all the humans are dead, there is no more Jesus Christ. There's no more Muhammad. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Those ideas are gone. Every religion's gone.
Because it's the death of consciousness.
It's over. And then whatever comes next will make up their own. They'll do their own stuff. And that's fine. I'm just saying, like, these ideas, everything we came up with, like nihilism and progressivism, conservatism, liberalism, fascism, communism, socialism, objectivism, postmodernism, modernism,
it's like, literally like
they all go away.
It's a giant Lego set that just gets smashed, and there's like, you see all the pieces,
and it's gone,
and everything's a different shade, and
every great piece of art,
because then the structure is no longer a thing.
Right.
It's just a pile of pieces.
It's just pieces. Every song that you ever cried to or laughed to with your friends, every art piece that, like, the first art piece that you appreciated, the first time that you ever, like, drove around in your car by yourself, like, went to school, all these structures, all these man-made things, these fabricated things, just gone. You can't fathom that. You cannot fathom.
I think we can, but we don't. I think we could.
I don't think we can, because we don't understand what it's like to have been born without being influenced by anything.
You can't try to understand it if you still have a willingness to participate in it, because if you tried to understand life without those things, you wouldn't want to participate in life with those things. Most
likely. If you really were like, if you let everything go, you would probably step back and be like, this is the way it was meant to be.
And then you burn yourself alive.
And then you self-immolate in front of the Supreme Court.
I mean, he was paid to do it, probably. But no, look at that. We're talking about it still. And he did get us to talk about it.
Well,
I wasn't going to talk about it.
He inspired a really big conversation.
Yeah.
He did.
Which is his point, right? Kind of. That's why I did it.
Yeah, but he doesn't. We don't need to praise him. He did his job. Good. Thank you. Go away.
Thank you. Ted Kaczynski did more for climate change.
100%. 100%.
More people got involved with climate change activism due to Ted Kaczynski than anyone burning themselves in front of the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Wild thing to say, but a true thing to say. It's just an interesting thing I've been thinking.
And there goes the YouTube video again.
Again. What albums do we got out here today?
Yeah, we got to go on from. We got An Alphabetology by Cap'n Jazz.
Cap'n Jazz for the Chicago emo Midwest emo band, very, very more punkish than anything, but very cool. I love the old videos of them just playing in Chicago.
Let's hold it up.
I'm
gonna hold it up for mine, and we'll zoom it in.
Yes, it's great. It's a what is the word? It's not a cohesive work of art. It's more like a collage.
Yeah,
that's the word I'm looking for.
Collage would be one. Yeah, kind of like kind of like with that one King Giz album. Collage of styles.
It's all a bunch of stuff, but it's a very cool, just very like a bunch of young kids kind of just going wild, making new music, very emotional. The song "Oh Messy Life," one of the greatest songs ever written. Also, the cover of Aha's "Take on Me," hilarious. Because they're just they can't hit the notes. They can't hit the notes at all, so they're just like just like screaming. This is a very cool. It came with this little thing. Look at this poster that kind of came with.
You got a poster from that?
It's not a poster. It's like you can like look through it and read all. The
it's
stuff.
like a
tells the life of the band. Yeah, June 2nd, Thursday, Trenchmouth, Las Mordidas, and Captain Jazz at the Caesar Bar, 1801 Division Street, Chicago. $5, 10:30 p.m. Under 21 must sneak in. That's awesome.
That's so funny.
But very cool. I really the emo scene in the Midwest. That's one thing that the Midwest has made is a great emo music.
Oh yeah,
amazing emo music, or at least influenced it, right?
That's what I always think about when we start talking about the Midwest and all the junk in the trunk that we have here with being a crumbled, failed state of a section of the country. It really we really show it. We really wear our heart on our sleeve when it comes to the history of this place.
For sure. Then we got King Gizzard and the Little Lizard Wizard's Oddments.
The Little Wizard,
Oddments, which is again kind of a compilation, more of a compilation.
It's a little more cohesive, but yeah.
These were
a little more cohesive. How cohesive is the next one?
This was a bunch of albums. Gumboot Soup. This is in the same. Is Oddments in the same boat as that? No, I don't think so. Oddments was just an album they made.
Yeah.
Right. And what have we got on here? The song.
It's got old, because it's got.
It's got and then Work This Time. Great song.
Yeah.
Work This Time, amazing. Work This Time and It's Got Old. Hot Wax is good too. And Sleepwalker. Very good. If I could suggest any songs off of this record to listen to. And then we got Minnesota's own, now Nashville.
You're not talking.
Minnesota's own, now Nashville's own, Bully by Alicia Bagnano. She had a band that she started called Bully. They kind of all broke up, and now it's just her.
I think she fired him.
She might have fired him.
You're the girl boss.
You're the girl boss.
But this album's called Sugar Egg.
Sugar Egg. Great record. Amazing. And not even great. I mean, an amazing... What do I have in here?
Oh, you got that little turn sleeve.
Oh, I did get a turn. Look, I don't even know what I own. I got a turn sleeve. Great album. Sugar Egg. Could not recommend this enough. Look at it. Even has the blue. I love that. Isn't this great? Ooh, look at that. Ooh. That's pretty, isn't that?
Wow.
That's pretty. I would definitely say every song on this album is good. That's what I would recommend.
Every song is good.
Every song. This is a 10. This album is actually a 10.
The only 10 to come out of the COVID quarantine era.
You're actually right.
Yeah.
Very good. And she signed it. So very cool.
Yep. Did you sign that? Did she sign that at the show?
No.
No?
I'm not that cool.
Oh, no, that's one I bought you for Christmas.
Yes.
I couldn't remember if you bought that at the show.
Music is great. King Gizzard just released their Omnium Gatherium album, their 20th LP, studio LP. It is I love it because the fact that they came out with it. The first song on the album is 18 minutes long, Dripping Tap. It was the first time that they got to record together and jam in the same room without really worrying about COVID for the first time, which they said on their Instagram, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that that's where, it's interesting. Music can come from being just alone on your own in the bedroom, but that kind of jam stuff, fucking rock, that's That's a group.
Yeah, you need
you've
other
gotta
motherfuckers for that.
You got to be in the same room, feeling it out, and that's what they did. Amazing work of art that they've put out. There's rapping and like bedroom pop and just rock.
There's like jazz, like sample twisting, like there's like jazz. There's like psychedelic jazz. Like there's like some of the songs, the more rappy ones, remind me of Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah,
like they have that same feel, like kind of old school beat.
It's old school, but very
super good.
It's exciting time. I'm just glad that getting back into it. It seems like the we're getting back to it. It just feels great.
The weather too is like
the weather's
just getting nice. Like I was driving, just listening to that. What's the one? It's like the Garden Goblin.
Garden Goblins is
Garden
great.
Goblins looking.
And I'm just like, feel myself just smiling. Like the windows are down, the sun's out, it's warm. I'm just like, fuck yeah! Like we made it through the winter. Here we go. Getting back into it.
We made it through. Exactly. There's no longer masks required on fucking airlines.
Yeah.
There's no. Dude, did you see the video of everyone on the airline?
Literally,
with masks?
they all took it off at the same time.
Everybody. We're like, we're done. And that's just crazy. It's just.
And there's always like one person who's just like, fuck, dude.
Well, people come into the store every day wearing masks still, and it's just like hey, more whatever.
It's okay.
It's okay, but it's just like you
don't have to.
As long as we keep on it. Just keep a tab on it. Just keep tabs on it. On COVID.
No,
I'm talking about for like autoimmune people.
Nope.
You heard it here first, folks.
Nope. We're done. We're done. You know who should keep tabs on it?
We don't have to keep tabs on it.
You know who should keep tabs on it? COVID? Autoimmune people. First of all, I have an autoimmune disorder.
And I know you're not keeping tabs.
I'm not keeping tabs. So I will state that for the record. I have an autoimmune disorder, and I'm not keeping tabs.
Hey, judging on the color of my shit today, I might also have an autoimmune disorder.
Where are we at for time?
We got about like 8 minutes left. I got this voicemail here.
That conversation was like 30 minutes long, but it was a good talk.
A bit longer.
Yeah.
It was all meshed together under the theme of like, I think environmentalism and society.
What was Earth Day this last week?
Yeah.
It
was true.
It was yesterday, right?
No, it was like
Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
Which is yesterday.
Oh, I thought it was on Friday.
No, Friday. You're right.
Friday. So we're right where we should be.
Sure.
What's this voicemail?
Who we got?
I don't know. There's no transcription, so we're going in blind with this.
That's okay.
What's really question?
They tried.
Hold on. Let's see if we can at least try to see what they were doing.
What's really question?
What's really crazy?
Wait, what's the phone number? This sounds like someone I know.
You're gonna beep it out?
Yeah, I'll beep it out. Okay, it's not the one I'm thinking of.
What's really question?
What's really crazy is
she's probably trying to make fun of you.
Because you do that. What's really crazy?
What's really crazy is
just having fun.
I bet you it's Halo.
Maybe
it sounded like
number,
it was a boop number.
Yeah,
it's two people.
Yeah. Oh no, and that's not. Never mind.
Really question?
Wait, did you read our number out or their number out?
Their number out.
It was our area code.
Yes.
It doesn't sound like her. It sounds like someone else.
Okay.
Oh well. Try again.
Yeah, try again.
Hold up.
We got to beep the number again. That's funny. It was a 262 number. We can say the area code.
What was the number again?
T. Don't forget to beep.
Okay.
Especially in the audio version.
Nah, let's dox them.
Is it someone we know?
I feel like we'll talk about it. Okay. I feel like I know who it is, and I think they might be being mean.
Aw.
Which is too bad.
Well, they couldn't get the joke off the ground, so fuck them.
We have the biggest podcast in the world. Did you know that, Bryce?
Yeah, and there's a number you can call to reach us directly. It's pretty crazy.
What's the number? Never mind.
262-770-5763.
That's 262.
You heard it, feel
770.
this close. Come on down. Prices
57.
have never been lower. Call in
63.
today. The recruit will get you to claim your free rebate.
You've been selected.
Don't
You-
say anything racist.
Don't. Some of you need to be told that twice. Some of you have naughty, naughty brains on you. Let's end it.
Okay.
I don't care how much is left.
Yeah.
Let's just end it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you to www.iKenosha for helping us with the studio. Thank you to That's a Beauty Production with helping us with production, which is Bryce. If people didn't know that, that is Bryce. Bryce is That's a Beauty Production. Follow, like, share. We're on everything. You already know this. Tipped and stiffed. Thank you. Goodbye.